meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
Council President Singh,
Here.
Councilperson Kaufman,
Here.
Councilperson Stahl,
Here.
Councilperson Fisher,
Here.
Councilperson Price,
Here.
Councilperson Whitmer,
Here.
Councilperson Burghardt,
Here.
Mayor Lutz.
Here.
Would anybody care to enter or offer an invocation?
I would.
Okay. If you would like, please rise.
My name is Evangelist Dan Perez from Ashland Tabernacle Church of God in Christ in Columbia, Pennsylvania. Good afternoon, everyone, or evening. We have to loosen up. So that feels kind of strange coming in and everybody's in a different mind. So we would like to pull your minds in for prayer to give God the honor and glory in which He richly deserves. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today in this Borough Council meeting to praise your holy name, first of all, that you would lead us into the things that we need to do, God. Heavenly Father, we praise your holy name. We ask that you look on each and every member that is present and under the sound of my voice, that you would give them wisdom and compassion for those around them, God. Bless and touch each one of us. Guide us through the things that we need to do, Heavenly Father. We give you the glory. We know that you are the ruler of all things. Help us to look at those next to us, our neighbors, our friends, those in the neighborhood, and those in the borough of Columbia. Bless us to show them compassion, Heavenly Father, in the decisions in which are about to be made, the discussions that we would remember that we love one another in the mighty name of Jesus. And be with us as we go back to our families. Give us peace this night. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Mayor, would you please lead us in a pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of executive and information sessions. There were none. Are there any additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda needed? I don't believe so. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as published?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the agenda as published. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, citizen comment, non-agenda items only. There is a 5-minute time limit per person. And as a reminder, this is a comment period. Anything should be directed to the chair. If there are questions, they could be directed to staff at the discretion of the chair. The first sign up we have is Mike McConnell. Please come to the microphone and state your name for the record.
Yeah, Michael Conley, Columbia. I thought I had to wait till last year. There's a couple of conversations we're floating around with Mark Stiver and with Leo in regards to a portion of I guess that would be the east side portion on the Columbia Borough Farm. Conversations about purchasing it, and Mark said the best thing to do would be to bring it to the forefront so the council and the borough could talk about it and decide what their plans are. He has all the information on all the things they've been going so far with, so I'll leave that all to Mark, and the conversations with Leo was involved in as well. But that was why I was bringing it to the forefront, so we could hopefully make some progress on that. For anybody that doesn't know, it's a 26-acre parcel on the east side of Blue Lane, and the borough farm where the mulching and the composting operations on the west side. So it's kind of like 2 separate tracks. So Mark had said that these really don't have a plan for it, but it is adjacent to my farmland that wraps all around it, surrounds it completely, and all my farmland is preserved. And I wanted to add that to my preserved land for basically for the animals. As you know, I'm kind of animal person with the shelter and so forth, and I guess especially if the borough ends up and develops the McGinnis property, the deer are going to have somewhere to go and all the animals. They're going to push them right out of there, and hopefully, my combined land would be about 50 acres of preserved land, which would be a nice thing for the area. So that was what I wanted to present to the council today to that Mark lead the conversation at some point, the information he has, so I don't have to disclose that, that's up to Mark.
So your property is in the ag preserve area?
It is, yeah, I have 30 acres in Lancaster Farmland Trust preserved it for us, and it's with permanent easements, no development. I signed away all the development rights, so it's completely always be farmland. So it's nice to know that it stops there rather than urban sprawl. So I would like to be a good fit that my name encompasses the whole way around it. So that's what I was here to make present. So thank you.
Thank you. We will, discuss that. And
That was the first step, Mark, to bring it up so we can talk about it. Okay, thank you.
And the next sign up we have is Patty McConley.
I could have done it, but.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to express thank you all for your extreme generosity to the animal shelters, spay and neuter program by providing funds for the sea cats to trap all these feral cats that are running around ranching in Columbia, trying to get the population down. Through the process, we have actually trapped some very friendly cats that were homeless that we have proceeded to find homes for. So it's been a win-win for everybody, and I just want to thank you so much for your generosity. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Next, we have minutes for approval. Could I have a motion to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for February 28th, 2023? I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for February 28th, 2023. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? No? Seeing none, I have the motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for February 28th, 2023. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for March 7th, 2023? I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for March 7th, 2023. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, presentation and acceptance of reports. The first one is community development. Councilperson Kaufman.
I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the zoning and planning reports for February 2023.
Next, Public Works and Property, Councilperson Stahl.
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the Public Works and Property Report for February 2023. Just making note of the amount of hometown hero flags that are slated to go up. That was definitely something missing from this town, because there's 285 about, I think. I'm not sure. 285 installed and 430 have been ordered. So, yeah, we'll have to find room for them all.
I know they're literally all over town. And every time I see your truck and I see you guys out there, I yell, thanks, every time, because I think this was a great partnership with the Smiths.
So a quick fun side note on that, I got a call from Wrightsville Borough. They are very interested in now doing the same program, so they're getting information from us on how to get started. So it's spreading, but it is encouraging to see.
And one other note from this report that I think we should point out, it's worth mentioning that the first yard waste pickup is Monday, April 3rd. I've already had several people emailing me, asking me when that's happening. So yard waste will begin Monday, April 3rd and continue every Monday throughout the borough. If Monday is a holiday, it goes on Tuesday. So I know that first week's going to be big. Next, safety and communication, Councilperson Brevard.
President, yes, I'd like to acknowledge receipt of the public safety reports for February 2023, including the Columbia Borough Police Department report and State Health Lifeline report, Columbia Borough Fire Department report. Acknowledge the receipt of the Codes Compliance report for February 2023, as well as the EMOC report for February 2023. We bring this up a lot, but I don't think we can talk about it too much. Please sign up for TextMyGov. The instructions are easy. It's easy to get. Go to the borough website, Columbia.pa.net, and sign up. With your sign up, you'll receive important borough information such as changes in street sweeping schedules, April 3rd notice that leaf collection begins, and things like that. In fact, a lot of street closures lately have been coming up on TextMyGov, which has been really helpful. As you know, we've been really investing in our emergency management lately. Part of that is the mobile EOC with the ARPA funds. Really proud to see the progress that we're making in our emergency management. TextMyGov was a big part of that. That's what started the conversation with TextMyGov, emergency management. So please, take the time to visit the website and sign up. Thank you.
Todd, I have a question for you. Recently I read that Lytics released their use of force data collection report, and unless I'm misunderstanding it, January 1st of this year, 2023, it became mandatory for that to be reported. I wondered, is that in our report, or maybe you could answer that too? Is that part of the report we get?
No, it's not, but it is reported to the state, and the state keeps those statistics.
Okay. I didn't understand that then, because I read what Lytics put out, and they said they had reported 0 within the month of February.
All law enforcement agencies are obligated.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Perhaps we could find a way to incorporate that into the reports that we get.
Certainly.
I just didn't know if I was missing it in those reports, because I didn't know where to look for it. So, thank you.
All right. Next, we have a presentation by PA State Senator Ryan Allman.
I get that 5-minute clock?
No, you don't.
I probably should. No, I'll be very brief. Look, many of you know that my first elected position was as a council member, served on the Quarryville Borough Council 15 years, maybe more than that now, and so I certainly understand the importance of moving through your agenda fairly rapidly. So I won't take too much of your time, but I am very grateful for the invitation to appear and just to have an opportunity to introduce staff that's here with me, and just to restate again, and I hope you know this, that I look forward to continuing to serve as a full partner of the borough. When I can be of assistance to you, and the Commonwealth can be of assistance to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know that you know that, and I do look forward to working with you over the course of the next few years, the next 4 years of my Senate term, to continue to advance great projects here in Quarryville, Columbia Borough. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And for the residents that are here, I certainly want to state so that there are a lot of conversations that happen outside of these meetings, and this council here, your mayor, your chief, do not hesitate to reach out when they think that I or the Commonwealth can be of assistance. For example, the chief, I think it was 2 years ago, as I was going around meeting all the various police chiefs, the chief mentioned that there were upgrades that were needed at our public safety training center to ensure that we were in a position to train our law enforcement officers to make sure they had the very best in terms of their resources and the training and upgrading the systems there, de-escalation techniques, and the weapons range, the dual weapons range there. We were able to secure the resources to do that. That's because of the conversation with your chief. So just wanted to state that at the outset, that I appreciate the partnership, and I look forward to that over the next 4 years. I have Rebecca Sullenberger here with me. Many of you know Rebecca. Rebecca has been my district director in Lytics for the last, now 9 years throughout my entire time in the Senate. She previously worked for me when I was a House member. But please don't hesitate to reach out. If we can be of any assistance, reach out to Rebecca or to any one of our staff. I'm very fortunate with the staff that I have, both in the Harrisburg District. It's an exceptional group. They're exceptionally talented. I'm very, very grateful. Not a lot of legislative activity yet. We're starting a new legislative session, as you know. It's taken some time for the House of Representatives to organize. On election night, it appeared as though the Democrats had a 1-seat majority, but with resignations and retirements, they were essentially going into swearing-in day essentially even. And so it's taken some time for the House to have not just a numeric majority by one party, but a functioning majority. They have now organized. It's now a very narrow Democratic majority in the House with a 28-22 Republican majority in the Senate and a new Democratic government. So we have divided government, and the people expect us to be able to work together, to be able to solve problems, and I expect that we will. The governor gave his budget address last week, as you likely saw. I have been meeting with all the various nominees, the governor, for cabinet positions, and concluded most of those meetings because we'll go through the process where, similar to the federal system, we do the advice and consent on the governor's nominees for all the various cabinet positions. So that process is now underway. The budget hearings will begin next week. So the legislative process is beginning to move forward. I've been selected by my colleagues, honored to have been selected by my colleagues to serve as the Senate Majority Whip, serving the number 3 position in leadership in the Senate. I'm looking forward to that opportunity. And I do expect with the new governor that we're going to be able to get things done. I had a conversation with the governor not long after swearing-in day that it's my hope that we will be able to make progress, to advance an opportunity agenda in Pennsylvania, and when we disagree, that we disagree well, that we disagree productively. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to do that. But again, it's an honor to represent you in the Senate. It's an opportunity, it's an honor to serve you, and please don't hesitate to reach out if and when we can be of assistance to you, certainly any constituents that we can be of service. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Rebecca. We're happy to come to Columbia anytime. We'll host lunch in Hinkle Spring if you'd like to come over and work through issues. So I'm happy to end there. If anyone has any questions for me or comments for me or any issues that you want to put on my radar screen that I should be mindful of, please don't. Except you, Leo. Anyone, be happy to.
Well, I will put a shot, since you shot Leo down. So I'll give Leo's thought. There are sister bills being worked through right now on stormwater runoff on state roads. They only include boroughs or municipalities up to a small size, which would leave us out. We would encourage you to find a way to include all municipalities and not just those small ones, because even though we're not that small, we still have that same issue. I mean, we've incurred how many hundred thousands of dollars from water runoff from Route 30 through one of our residential neighborhoods not too long ago because of that issue. So we would encourage you to find a way to include all the municipalities, not just those.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I agree with you. The mayor did reach out to Representative Miller and myself a few weeks ago to put that legislation on my radar screen. We're not back in session until April 27th, April 24th, I believe. The prime sponsor, Senator Hutchinson, I intend to reach out to see what his openness would be to amendment. I don't know what the prospects are of that legislation moving forward. We'll keep an eye on it, and certainly there's an opportunity to amend it to make sure that it's more inclusive. We'll absolutely do that.
Yeah, I think we were waiting till it started to move to send something to encourage you, on what our thoughts on it were.
Yeah, ideally, if I can convince the prime sponsor to make an amendment before it moves, that would be best case scenario. But we'll certainly be ready to address it if the legislation does begin to move out of committee into the process. So I appreciate the mayor and bringing that to our attention. We are tracking it.
Yes, and I had some hiccups, but I intend to continue working with Stephanie to rework the borough code to remove the front end civil service process for police officer hiring, because that is still a huge issue for us. That is an absolute barrier to us being able to secure our community. Thank you.
Senator, any word yet on the UES task force, and are they continuing to meet now, or are they still waiting for direction?
So I do not believe they have met yet with the new administration. I did raise the issue with both the incoming DCED secretary, the acting DCED secretary, just to talk from an economic development standpoint, and then with the new transportation secretary I met with last week, and specifically rose the issue of the task force, because if they're not going to continue with that model, then I think they have to adjust how they have their deputy secretaries organized to make sure that there's appropriate oversight of that program. So I believe that the task force will reconstitute. The secretary is not really yet up to speed, just getting started on that, but we'll certainly stay on top of that as well. Thank you.
Anyone else questions for the senator? Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you all.
in.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have our, greater representatives here to for the FaceTime. It's always nice that.
Well, I appreciate that you reached out to invite me. A few municipalities do this on occasion. We occasionally have the opportunity to do this, but I certainly appreciate the invitation. I know that you recently had Representative Miller out as well, who's new to the borough. I've worked with Representative Miller for the last 8 years, and certainly anticipate having the same degree of partnership with him that I had with Representative Hickerhell before him here in Columbia Borough. So thank you very much. It means a lot that you give me a little bit of time, and wish you well as you continue to serve. Thank you for your service, and have a great meeting, and I'm going to eject.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you just stay for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sit and wait.
You may be interested in what you want to say.
Okay.
And I just thought.
I'm always interested.
Oh,
in
whoops,
that.
I was skipped over you. I was just getting ready to say, can we pay the bills? I'm sorry, next is the mayor.
Okay. Madam President, thank you for bringing that up to the senator. That's an important thing for us, especially 441, Route 30. How many times has 441 flooded? And Councilman Burgard made me think about this. Yesterday at our Governor's Advisory Committee for hunting, now it's for hunting, fishing, and conservation, but this pertains to all Pennsylvania. The recent train wrecks that happened out in East Palestine and elsewhere in the country brings this thing to light. The chief and I and our emergency management coordinator, Jay, had discussed this. We have a rail line coming down through here, down through Columbia. We all see the cars, the 100-car trains with Lord knows what's on their tankers. And we have the Susquehanna River that we draw our water from. And I think about the news article I saw about the wrecks on Rockville Bridge. Everything east of here goes across Rockville Bridge, heading east. And if there's a wreck on Rockville Bridge of hazardous materials, it's going in the river. It's coming down to where we get our drinking water from, Lancaster City and others. So this is something we need to keep our eye on, being a river town and a railroad town. Yesterday I spoke about basically because of the committee it was, the effects on our waters and our aquatic life, what that can do to wiping out aquatic life, fish and whatever have you, in the streams. And if you notice, most railroads go along streams. So this is very important. Here in Columbia Borough, our next emergency management meeting, we're going to discuss this and talk about, and maybe even have as far as a tabletop exercise or whatever have you, to be prepared. We want to be, as we talk now, we want to be at the head of the dog, not the back end of the dog, for everything pertaining to Columbia Borough. So we want to get a plan together that, God forbid, if there is a wreck of hazardous materials, or a wreck for that matter, in Columbia Borough of a train, we can spring into action. And the Emergency EOC Center being portable is so important, because that zone
of that clear zone would necessitate us having to move our emergency operations center possibly out of here where we were housing it. So it's very important that we have that center and we have it working. So I wanted to bring that up, and and thank you, Senator, for listening to that, because this is very important to us in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure you know that. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Chief.
I just wanted to take a moment to recognize some of our officers. Sergeant Jim Jacobs, officers Andrew Snyder, Nathaniel Miller, and Frank Ember were recently recipients of the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve Commanders Award for their outstanding support of the Marine Corps Toys for Tot program. So we are very proud to be a part of that program. It's extremely worthwhile, and I just wanted to recognize the officers. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think he's dismissing you now.
Thank you.
All right. Next, action items. Could I have a motion to authorize the bill payments? I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stoll to authorize the bill payments. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on these? No? Seeing none, hearing none. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stoll to approve the bill payments. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have, do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 946 of 2023 to amend chapter 82, article 2, care and control of animals? I have a motion by Councilperson Littner, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to adopt ordinance 946 of 2023. This is the ordinance related to feeding and housing and care and of the specifically feral cats, but other animals as well. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this?
I would like to present a consideration for, let's see, it's 8217 for A and B, to consider any person who violates any provision of this chapter shall be charged with a summary offense and shall be fined not less than $100, no more than $500, and all costs of prosecution for the first offense, or be assigned 60 hours of community service instead of the imprisonment. And then moving into the B, 120 hours of community service.
While I don't disagree with that sentiment, Borough Code is pretty clear on the penalties that we are able to assess under these kind of ordinances, and it's very clear that imprisonment. Now, I'm not going to say this as a blanket statement, but I would not think that anyone is going to jail over feeding a feral cat. I sure hope not, and I've never seen it. But that's what's in the Borough Code, so that's kind of what we've got to go by and what we're governed by.
Is there anything other than imprisonment?
There's a fine and imprisonment. That's pretty much it. So I think, if you were to bring a criminal case, I think the judge may be able to do that in their discretion, but I don't think we can do it in our ordinance as well. So.
Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? I would just like to thank everyone that worked on this ordinance. I think it is a good ordinance, and I think it is a good change from what we had. Makes things a little more clear, and it also provides an easy way for the residents to come into compliance with the ordinance before they are, given punishment. So thank you, everyone. Any further questions, comments, concerns on the ordinance? No? Hearing none, seeing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Littner, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to adopt ordinance 946 of 2023 to amend Chapter 82, Article 2, Care and Control of Animals. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, new business. We have a special event application for the Shank Shop to host a Christmas in July Makers Market using Sadie Lane from Market Avenue to 3rd Street, Market Avenue from Sadie Lane to Avenue I from Market Avenue to 3rd, and 3rd Street from Locust to Avenue I on July 16th from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And also requested to hang banners at 3rd and Locust in front, beginning approximately a month prior to the event. So.
Are these banners crossing the street?
They had looked at that as a possibility. The one at Locust in front could be attached to the fencing down there. They asked about putting it across the cables out here, and I said, well, it's probably a good thing for council to look at and discuss. If we want things out there, I know I've gone to other communities, and about a month prior to, they'll have signs up, an event coming. If it can't be here, they can talk about putting a sign out at Gladfelder as well.
No, I like it. We'd be responsible to hang it, right?
Most likely, we would help put it up, just so it's done properly.
Yeah. That'd be my biggest concern if we want it. Well, I agree with you. Manheim does a lot too. We'll go to Manheim and see banners.
Of upcoming events, so.
Yeah. And it helps draw people.
And it helps inform the community, hey, this is coming.
Right. The banners are so expensive. I don't always see it.
Yeah, it's their cost.
So it will be part of our expense to hang, for our guys hanging it. Did they give any contribution toward that or not?
Again,
This was requested before the new
I
procedure, so.
I see a lot of this as positive, maybe hard to track. I guess it's something that can be trackable. I don't think anybody's ever done it, where you can see the benefit of things. Sometimes, like parades. A parade in town may not sell anything per se for that parade, but it will draw people to the town and do other things, so.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, yeah.
I'm just simply saying that we begin to hang banners for people that are bringing, for-profit business in.
Right.
I'm just putting it out there.
And maybe that's something we should do. Maybe we should. I don't know hanging out there, but.
See and say it costs you extra.
It can't be more than an hour, can it, Jake?
Well, it just depends how big the banner and it gets tied up.
Well,
For most people.
My thing is, I just keep going back to, I understand that, it's drawing people in and everything, but here we are allowing a for-profit business to block off a key street on a Saturday, a key market day, and also tie up the streets around the market where it may make it more difficult to get into the lots and everything else. And we're not recouping any of our costs. I get it, trash barrels, but that's our public works guys that are going to have to go out. They're going to have to put the barrels out. They're going to have to pick them up at the end. And yes, it's an hour, but if it's an hour for two guys, how much does that cost? And we're not tracking that. And I think, I just really think that we need to be looking at how much this is costing the taxpayers for this, that we're not recouping. I mean, we have two from this same place tonight. We still don't have a process in place that, for the out-of-town businesses. I mean, have we talked to the Merchants Association? What do they think about blocking off a key street in July? I mean, and, we're putting the new thing through, the new sign ordinance. We're going through with that. Yet, here we are, our own businesses, we're holding them to certain standards, and then here we are allowing someone from outside to come in and just, we're hanging up a banner for them at no cost, and I just think, I don't know, I'm just really conflicted on this.
Madam President, if I may elaborate on what you're saying, and I think you started to frame it very well. And I certainly don't want to turn business off,
Right.
but there's two events here from the same company, I'll say, because they're for profit. And they're not from Columbia.
No.
And I feel as you do, whether we're blocking off parts of the river park or parts of our downtown business district for a out-of-town business who's going to hold an event and probably make some profit off of it. But the exhibitors are going to profit too.
Right.
I understand that. But when I think about what we have in this town, we should be catering to our town businesses. In the same way down at the river, I know the women of the Moose have a very successful craft show down there.
Right.
And now we want to put another one from out of town. It comes down to is Columbia open for other people to have events, or because they can't have them in their municipality, or what's going on here? I mean, I don't want to make people from Marietta or St. Charles mad, but I do want to look out for Columbia and Columbia business and Columbia residents.
Right. And I want to look out for taxpayers that have to bear the brunt of these costs that, like I said, it may just be an hour here or an hour there, but that's an hour that the Jake's guys aren't doing something else for us.
Well, it's not an hour here and an hour there, because Jake knows darn well it takes quite a bit of time afterwards to run the street sweeper and clean everything.
Exactly. And I also noticed on here, on both of the requests for the Shank Shop, they say they require police services. What police services are they requiring? Does that mean we're going to have an extra police officer during that, on duty that time? I mean, that's money as well. We can't overlook that. I mean, I get it that this was put in before we started this conversation, but I don't think that we can overlook those things. I would just like to hear others, if anyone else is as conflicted as I am about this.
Well, I will say on the banner discussion, when Jake and I did talk about it, we realized that the first one in July, we'll probably have patriotic banners across the square anyway, so that space probably won't be available. We want to do that, hang the bunting again across there. If they are at their own cost, putting it on the fence down here or putting a sign up at Glass Color, I don't see a concern with that. But I do hear, and I think this is why we're having this conversation, is what's the real cost to us for these events? And how much of this do we bear, and how much do we then charge the people coming into the community?
That's been my question all along.
I think there's something to be said though about an organization bringing an event and drawing people from, they're doing the advertising, they're bringing people from outside in that may not otherwise come, and they probably won't just come and go without visiting other businesses around town. So there's a residual benefit to the businesses of Columbia, the coffee shops, the market house,
If they have a
that
good,
may not have otherwise been here.
if they have a good experience. And the organization that is not from town, that is not from Columbia, they do not have a vested interest in this town beyond their event. So, you know, they're focused on the small area where their event is. It becomes up to us to make sure that that event is positive all over. And if they're blocking off key streets that our people are trying to use to get to the market, it doesn't leave a good impression in our citizens. And then it comes back to that whole Columbia's catering to the outsiders. All we're catering to is tourists, which has been a huge, we have fought that for the last couple of years, that we're trying to make it for the residents. And I mean, at what point do you say enough is enough? We have to be for our residents.
I think it's a good conversation to figure out what these things cost and be able to add those on to event charges. And if nothing else, that at least we know internally what we're spending itemized on supporting events.
Right.
At that point, we can decide whether or not it's worth it for us to do that.
Right.
It may be worth it for us to have as many events as possible. You know, there's something to be said about events and businesses drawing lots of people to the point where you can't get easy access to that thing, and it becomes more attractive. More
Right.
people want to go to a crowded restaurant that's hard to get in than to one that's you're always going to get a seat.
But the people that live there are going to start rolling their eyes and saying, I don't want to live here anymore, because all they have done is turn this into a tourist destination. And we don't want people just to visit here, we want them to stay. We want them to live here. And they can't live here comfortably if they can't come downtown to a nice meal, because every other week there's a huge event and you don't know which streets are going to be blocked off. Or they can't get into one of the shops that they want to get into to pick up a birthday cake for a party they're going to. You know, that's what I think we have to focus on, the balance.
Chris?
Can I come up?
Sure. Hold
The
on, let me
market.
Set the timer.
It won't take long.
Oh shoot, I should have said that.
As we said in the meeting, and she's married to a gentleman who's raised here and everything, you know, Jan Shank, that's her daughter-in-law. Very organized, one of the most organized people you ever sat down with. Chief, Mark, and I, Wilson, we sat down with her. Now, she was the one who ran the show last November. That was on a Sunday. This show is on a Sunday also. So basically, we're closed anyway. Okay. So we expect a good show like this could draw about 4,000 to 5,000 people into downtown. And we emphasize that all the businesses open up that are not usually open on Sundays, that open up that day. Last November when we ran that show, they were Parkway on the 400 block, and all the businesses did very well that day. It does drive a lot of people downtown, and pushes our economics. She's well organized. I'm not sure about the police services that we talked about. I know she has security and everything, but like I said, she's very organized in what she does. Very impressive. I know that the mayor spoke about the Moose running their show in the River Park. They're not doing that anymore. They're in the Market House now, so we're not going to use the River Park anymore. So, but she is very organized to a T. Probably the most organized event planner I've ever met. So, but she does drive the economics in the town, which our businesses, MAC, things like that would benefit. So, but that's my outlook on it. All my businesses inside the Market House
so they can open up, so.
Chris,
Yes.
question is, this is on a Sunday. Is the Market House gonna be part of this event?
Yes. Oh, this,
See, I-
basically surrounds.
Well,
our
I think
house.
that's something that wasn't explained.
No, it wasn't.
See, now to me, that changes the whole
It
thing.
does.
Economics for my
And
vendors.
I'll say, you are the, I'll say the prime sponsor or whatever of this event, the market.
And she is getting
And-
charged for
But
the hours.
she is coming in,
Right.
along with the market. To
Exactly.
me, that makes it different. I support our market
Right.
and anything you can do at our market.
Exactly.
So that makes the whole thing sound different.
If I could have
But for
4,000
someone to
people
have a
walking
shop
around.
in Marietta and want to set up on the streets in Columbia, I have no bit of problem with that.
Well, it does say here they're renting the Market House, right?
They'll be charged per hour of use of the Market House. Yes.
Yeah,
Just like November, she was charged for that.
To me, that's a whole different ballgame, thank you.
I don't know, I was thinking it was Saturday.
Yes.
But changing it to a Sunday, can we put like the day on there as well on these? Because that would also help.
I've
That
also-
does change the dynamic for me. I still want to know what it cost us because
Sure.
that's still important. But the fact that it's not impacting a busy Saturday is also,
And with the Amish not working in their stands, I've already told them to buy their soft pretzels that they'll pre-make hundreds and hundreds of pretzels the day before, and then I'll be running their stand on that Sunday for them. So we definitely want to make sure that we have economic impact inside the Market House, and it helps all the vendors. Any questions or anything?
You put on there co-sponsors, we probably wouldn't have much discussion at all.
Thank you.
yes, Mike.
This week.
Yep.
I was just gonna say that Chris is all about Columbia, and so am I, but just to throw it out here for you guys, that, now not for-profit events like you're talking about the other company, but anything for the borough, like the art and park, or the Halloween parade, or something like that, it'd be great to, give you the spot on our LED sign, on how you do it with traffic, and we can put it up a couple days ahead of time, you just give you a spot, and don't take, but, a couple minutes to do that, and, we can give all the community events, so it'd be glad to do that, for the community as well. We put the shelter up, and we put the car wash up, we put wherever, but, we can certainly give the borough spot, it's highly visible, and don't take much to change it to offer that, but not for profit, that's anything for a town,
Right.
We'd be glad to do that.
Thank
So, okay.
We'll remember that.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
I mean, I am
And then
not.
Patty's the one in charge of the sign. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I volunteered her, but yeah. Chris,
Contact her.
yeah, Chris, you can contact her, yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
for hanging at
Yeah.
a banner at Third and Locust, but I am willing to allow them to put a sign down on the fence at Front and Locust. But if they want to do something out of Gladfelders, that is not up to the borough. And I think they need to understand that.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good, because that's not up to us to allow them to hang a sign on someone else's property. Do we wanna, vote on this tonight? Do we wanna wait?
I like to vote on tonight, this one tonight. This was put in 2 months ago,
It was a while ago.
and it was tabled, and now we're addressing it again. Pretty much have the same conclusions we did the last time. So I think it's fair, it's only fair to move forward on this. Secondly, there's a little side note here. These executive briefs, they are supposed to tell us the cost, estimated cost.
Yeah, we talked about that, we're gonna start tracking numbers and start putting estimated costs in there. for what we do about it.
Amazing. I know I said only 2 hours, Mayor said more hours of all the street sweeping stuff. But surely our managers can figure out estimated costs, whether it's police, streets, code enforcement, whatever.
I mean, we did ask for that when we talked about this back in February,
Right.
that, we want to see these costs.
It surely would make two things, make it easier to vote on, and secondly, it would help us understand when we're requesting money from somebody. Because this time around, we don't have a fee schedule set up.
Right.
Hopefully on the next one, we will have a fee schedule set up and we'll be able to justify in our minds and to the people why we're charging that fee and where that fee's going to. But I would like to make a motion on this first one.
Could I ask one question
Oh,
before you proceed?
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, it said about 12 trash barrels and so forth, and that they're going to use the Market House restrooms during the event. Is that going to be adequate for the number of people that are attending?
I would say so. I mean, with the amount of hours, it should be sufficient.
Thank you.
And they're not going, are they putting the trash, they're providing the liners, they're not putting those in our dumpster, are they?
No, they're gonna collect their own trash.
But we will still have extra trash from inside the market that day as well. So that is also another consideration.
That should be part of the fee Chris is charging as well.
Yeah. So, all right, so do you want me to read it or do you want to just?
Go ahead, read it.
All right, so Eric, would you like to make a motion to approve the special event application for the Shank Shop to host a Christmas in July Makers Market using Sadie Lane from Market Avenue to 3rd Street, Market Avenue from Sadie Lane to Avenue I, Avenue I from Market Avenue to 3rd Street, and 3rd Street from Locust Street to Avenue I on July 16th, 2023, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And also to hang a banner at Front and Locust Street on the fence at the municipal lot.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the special event application for the Shank Shop to host a Christmas in July Makers Market on July 16th from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns on this? No? All right, that being said, I'm going to make sure I have the motion real good again. A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the special event application for the Shank Shop to host a Christmas in July Makers Market using Sadie Lane from Market Avenue to 3rd Street, Market Avenue from Sadie Lane to Avenue I from Market Avenue to 3rd Street, and 3rd Street from Locust to Avenue I on July 16th, 2023, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., and to hang a banner at Locust and Front Street on the fence of the municipal lot beginning approximately 1 month prior to the event. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, we have the special event application from Ashley Tabernacle to host the annual baptism at the River Park Boat Launch. Questions, comments, or concerns? Oh, shoot. I just realized we didn't talk about the certificate of insurance for the Shank Shop. Do we have that or do we need that?
I don't know. We'll make sure it's there.
Application notes it. There's only application.
Okay.
I just read 2 certificates of insurance required.
Yeah.
It's part of the application.
But normally we put that in the motion that it is contingent on the thing.
I was gonna mention it, but I thought.
You should have, because I forgot. I was trying to keep it all straight. All right. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns on this? When they do it every year, and then about half the time it ends up getting canceled. So.
I think it's a great event.
Yeah.
It's a historic event in Columbia, and Glad to see. I don't think you had it last year, did you, Ann?
No, we did not.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it come back again.
Thank you.
I hope the weather holds out for you.
Yes. God always provides. It rains after the event.
Alright, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the special event application from Ashley Tabernacle COGIC to host their annual baptism using the River Park Boat Launch area on August 13th, 2023, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., contingent on receipt of the required certificate of insurance.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher and a second by Councilperson Price to approve the special event application from Ashley Tabernacle. Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? No? Seeing none, hearing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Price to approve the special event application from Ashley Tabernacle COGIC to host their annual baptism using the River Park Boat Launch area on August 13th, 2023, from 3 to 6 p.m., contingent on the receipt of the required certificate of insurance. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have another special event application from the Shank Shop to host a fall craft show on October 22nd using the River Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So
I would like to table this if possible for 30 days. Give us time to hopefully have a fee schedule straightened out. The fee. And possibly better understand our costs. Because this isn't the market house, this isn't Lumpkin Street, it's the River Park. So there definitely will be labor costs about clean up and everything else down there, for sure.
But Eric, this was dated in March, according to the county.
That's,
Table it till after we make changes.
Yeah,
Doesn't seem like we can.
I'm concerned about the retroactivity there. I'm not sure that you can apply a fee schedule that you would adopt at some point in the future to an event permit that has already been applied for.
no, but what we can do is we can deny this
Based on the cost.
based on full cost. That we do not want to bear the brunt of the cost.
And then have to reapply.
And they would have to reapply.
Right.
I mean, just because we don't have something in place yet, doesn't mean our hands are tied and we have to accept anything that is thrown in front of us.
I mean, Jake can tell us it's $50, we can vote on it.
Right.
But
But
if it's $300, we could say no, or it's $700, we can say no, and then it's up to Shank to decide whether they want to pay the fee or not. So I do think we ought to wait on this one.
I did read the wrong date though.
It was submitted in December, it looks like.
Yeah, December. I mean, because this one is also requesting police services, what, you know, and again, how many hours of public works time is going to be involved.
So council is aware, what we have talked about is, I know on the chief's side and Jake's side, that their teams are gonna start tracking the actual time during these events. So we can start building a database, if you will, of the cost and the time commitments to these events. And I guess they vary. One thing could change during an event, and it could increase Jake's time if something is needed or something, but I think over time we'll get a good average of what these things cost.
Right, but I mean, we should already be able to say at this point, you know, Jake should already be able to say, because we've been asking for this for months. Actually, since last year, we've been asking for the costs for these, what it's costing us to do this. I mean, he should already be able to say, oh, I got, you know, 2 guys that are, it's gonna be a total of 4 hours worth of work between dropping things off, picking them up, you know, doing this, doing that. I mean, he should already know this is what it is. I mean, Jack should already know that, oh, when these things are going on, I am bringing an extra person on during that day, or I'm not. We should not have to wait another year to track this. We should already be able to give a good ballpark so that council can have good numbers and good information to vote on.
Right, and I can see numbers not being right.
Right.
Or being close.
Right, exactly.
I can give you numbers, for these events, because of past.
Right.
This Shanks thing is a new event, so I have no clue.
Right.
What they're gonna want. Some of them don't need no service.
Right, and we understand that.
Right. But we've had events down at the river park with like the Ladies of the Moose and, well, they were down there already before last year, I think, too, weren't they, Chris?
I think they did it spring last year.
Yeah,
But
spring last
they
year.
never required services from Public Works.
Right.
We either drop trash cans off on Friday in the building.
But, and that's time though.
Right, well, it's, yeah.
And then was there extra time the next day cleaning up? Those kinds of things.
Well, they would take care of all their trash, we would just, Monday, somebody would go up and grab the empty barrels and take them back.
And that there is time also. You know, it's, I mean, I know it seems like, oh, it's a half an hour or it's this, but that's what we're trying to understand is what is that true cost?
Ranger fire.
Well, yeah, they are. And that's, I mean, yes, it is definite. We want to know how much that costs, but all of these events, we shouldn't say.
Absolutely. It's easy. It's a minimum of 4 hours per man. 3 hour contract. 3 hour call. 3 hours. We're here.
That's fine.
So, but that's.
I mean, they're going to bear the cost.
Right.
You're right.
Right. So that's the cost that we want to know is, are we bearing this cost or are we not? Is there someone extra coming in or is there not? Is there, you know?
Rather than, I'll just say this, having looked at a number of these ordinances, and some from smaller municipalities, some from much larger cities, most of them don't try to estimate a cost up front. They say, for a public works employee, it is this much per man hour. And for a police officer, it's this much per man hour. And then an invoice gets sent, you know, you can probably try to give some kind of rough estimate at the beginning, but at the end, they get an invoice for however many man hours it took Jake's guys to pick up the trash cans and put them down, and how many police officers that were there.
Oh, I
Rather
agree.
than-
Right, but
yeah.
that's once the ordinance is in place, but for now, and for the nonprofit businesses, it's important that council understand how much we are being expected to absorb in cost for different events.
Well, you do
Whether or
the
not
same
we're-
way you report every event.
Right, whether or not we're recouping it or not, but it's hard to vote on it if we don't even have a ballpark. That's all I'm saying.
The new estimated cost have already been spelled out in that new policy.
Well, right, but we don't have any for these events that we've asked for multiple times. We've asked for ballparks and we still don't have them. And that's why I'm saying it's hard to vote when we don't know how much we're asking the taxpayers to bear. I agree with Eric. I would like to table it and I would like to get numbers on it. You know, bring it back with numbers. Tell me how much what our cost is, and let us decide if we want to absorb that cost or not. And if we don't, we're going to deny it. I'm sick of voting on these facilities use requests without knowing what they're costing us.
Well, you know, and it's probably a real good thing to table, and we talked about this before, and I see it here again. Here it comes again, you're fixing cost of things, but they're requesting the use of the Columbia Crossing restroom.
Exactly.
Now, they're going to have people standing by there to make sure that the restrooms are taken care of, that the paper is filled and things like that there, and the trash emptied. So there's costs that that Susquehanna National Heritage Area is absorbing on the events that you put down there.
Right.
So there should be something, some compensation to them.
Right, well, and in the note here, it says permission has already been received from Hope Buyers to use the river park. So I'm assuming that she's okay absorbing those costs, but.
I don't think that was ever posed that way. That's my guess.
Right.
And I question events like that. I don't think those restaurants can handle that.
I agree, and why don't we have portable toilets on here anymore? We did before, didn't we? They're not.
You know, if you put portable toilets, portable hand wash stations, those kind of things, if they bear the cost of that, that takes a lot of the problems out of the municipality.
Right.
I think I read somewhere that they're relying on council to decide if they need more restroom facilities than what they've stated.
So if they're asking for expecting thousands of people to attend these events, how is that going to work? Doesn't seem logical.
Well, I think, Leo's right, that it does tax the restroom facilities down there. And that's ultimately an expense for us because we maintain that building. So, I mean, I would prefer to require them to have at least one, if not two, external porta pots. But like Eric said, I would rather table it and, get this cleared up before I'm expected to vote. Because I honestly, at this point tonight, I cannot approve this. I don't feel comfortable.
Should we table it now, or, I mean, the thing that I see here with it being submitted in December, if we table it and then vote it down a month from now, it's turning into a very long process for them.
And I get that, but that's not, we should not be pushed into something to vote on something because this is the first time we're now seeing it. We've had these questions repeatedly and it was presented to us without the full information. That's the way I see it.
I thought we saw this one.
No, that was the first one.
That was the first one.
And we tabled before.
And I get it, they were, there's a lot that goes on in the meetings with the vendor to get these up and running, to get these working. I know Pam spends a lot of time working with the vendor and everything else, but, that was before it even got to us. We should not be beholden to vote right then and there because it took that long to coordinate everything.
Can we have estimated costs before the next meeting in March? So we can take.
Before the 28th.
So we can vote on it this month, let's get this done. It's not fair to these folks. If they're waiting for 3 months, it's not their fault. They're not pushing us into anything. They were timely. Let's go ahead and get the numbers, get whatever satisfies the will of council to make this motion, get it approved or not approved, and let these folks get on with their life. I don't think it's fair for us to keep them hanging. This is a big event, probably lots of folks to contact and make arrangements with, and every week that we don't give them an answer is a week that they're losing to have a successful event, which doesn't do, an unsuccessful event does no good for anybody.
Right.
If they want to do the event, I want it to be an awesome event that benefits everybody in the borough. So, can we do that?
So my question is, if we come up with the costs, it doesn't mean we can pass those costs on according to our current.
No, we can't
code.
pass those costs on.
So it's
But
just
we
a
can
yes
make-
or a no
Right.
at that point.
Exactly. We can make a more informed decision at that point.
And if
Okay.
it's a no, they can certainly reapply with the expectation of paying those costs.
But I would also like them to
Because we'll have our fee schedule updated by that time?
We don't have the updated fee schedule.
Okay,
But, I mean, at that, I would also like,
so why
In the
don't we just
mean-
vote this, if you feel strongly about voting this out, regardless, and then use the updated fee schedule next time, we could keep this moving for them by voting tonight. That way they can reapply.
You can also, if you're not gonna charge them, it doesn't make no sense in waiting. You can come up with the cost to satisfy yourselves and the community, later on. You come up with that. But I think the only other thing to me is important is, I think if you choose to pass it tonight, next week, whatever, that you request, that they have at least
2 porta potts
porta
and a
potties.
hand wash
a
station.
hand wash.
I personally don't feel so strongly about the negative aspects of these costs due to the net benefit of bringing people to this town.
Right.
And for one event, I think it's great that we come up with the fee schedule for for-profit events. But for this, I don't want to just be known as the town that like nitpicks on everything and doesn't get these things passed through. Oh, you have to apply a year ahead of schedule because it takes 4 months for them to decide whether or not to approve it. I don't want that. But in the future, we can have it streamlined so that we don't end up taking this amount of time. But I feel like I would vote tonight, and I'm in favor of approving it because it's just one more event. We've been doing events like this for years, and one event is not going to change the problem, but we've already started the ball rolling on fixing the problem. Like, all your points are correct, Heather. But I don't want to be a thorn in the side of this organization who is bringing a net benefit to this town by bringing good events, good flow of traffic, and I believe it brings the entire business district up in this town. And the tourist industry, it might be a pain for some people, but it's great. I mean, we don't want to be a town that people don't want to go to.
Right, no, we don't, but we also don't want to be a town where people don't want to live because they're asked to bear the cost for.
Sure, but we're fixing that.
Right, well, we
You got the ball
are,
rolling.
yes.
It's going.
And I would be comfortable, any applications that we get after the fee schedule. I just think any that we've gotten before that changes, I don't feel good about. Like even saying no, just, I don't know, I just aren't comfortable with that. I think after the changes in place going forward, then we have that ability, but I don't know.
And I get that, I just want to know the cost, that's all I'm asking.
I would be inclined to, if we voted on it, to say yes as well. And I think maybe nobody, coming from the perspective of the communications team, this is the same organization sponsoring Christmas in July. You see how they're promoting the borough in this event through advertising, through Facebook events, social media posts, Instagram, signage, flyers, community outreach, local newspapers. They're promoting this borough. And that's an investment. That's an investment. That's an investment that we don't have to make.
Yeah.
And it's something that we've been wanting to do, begging to do, figuring out how we can do it better. They're offering to do it for us. I would encourage them to do the same for the bus as well, and I think they will. I'd be all in favor of voting yes for this event tonight as well.
So, first of all, what I heard was Councilperson Stoll would like to make a motion that we approve the special event application for the Shank Shop to host a fall craft show on October 22nd, 2023, using Columbia River Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Contingent upon receipt of required certificate of insurance, naming Columbia Borough as additional insured, as well as requiring them to contract 2 porta-johns and 1 hand wash station at their own expense.
Is 2 enough?
I think so.
Think so, but Isn't there a number per event?
Well, yeah, but the numbers are weird because this would be like, not everyone all at once.
Right, it's not like a football game.
Right.
I understand that, but if you're saying 6,000 people in 3 hours, that's 2,000 people.
It was 2,000.
It's 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 people anticipated attendance from 10 to 6.
Okay.
The other number was for the other event.
Okay.
Yeah, I just go with 2.
Yeah.
Alright. Fine.
All right. Would anyone like to second that?
Sure.
All right. I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Brigard, to approve the special event application for the Shank Shop to host a fall craft show on October 20th, 2023, using the Columbia River Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., contingent upon receipt of the required certificate of insurance naming Columbia Borough as an additional insured, and also requiring they contract for 2 porta-johns and 1 hand wash station at their own expense. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Madam President,
Yes.
to go along with this, I think it would be a good idea for council to not accept any facilities use request here on until
We're
you
hammered.
settle this thing. So we don't have to do this a
Yes.
couple more times. And
I agree.
plus that will give everybody
An incentive to get it done.
An incentive to get it done, yes.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, next, we have the special event application from the Lions Club to host their annual Mardi Gras Halloween Parade on Thursday, October 26th, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. using the traditional parade route. Approval contingent upon receipt of the required certificate of insurance. Again, this is another one that we have had this for years. We should know how much this costs us. And it's not on here. I mean, I'm a little disappointed by that because I think it's important that people understand that we are supporting the Lions Club, we are supporting the community. This is a community event, and this is where their tax dollars are going. Yep. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this one? Would we like to approve this one tonight? This is, in my mind, this is a no-brainer.
Right.
Who would like to make a motion to? All right. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the special event application from the Columbia Lions Club to host their annual Mardi Gras Halloween Parade on Thursday, October 26, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. using the traditional parade route as outlined on the facilities use request. The approval is contingent upon receipt of the required certificate of insurance. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, consider authorizing staff to make site improvements to Zion Hill Cemetery. And we have Craig.
Hello, council.
Hold on.
Time round. I only did six slides, okay? I think it's 6.
Yeah, we're getting
Here we go, under the crunch. As you can see, we have a new logo, Zion Hill Cemetery logo. I designed this one. This shows family and military, and of course the bereavement of the people buried out there. In the last, I guess we started working on this last March, a year ago. The research, what went into this. Celeste Leslie is on our committee. What a wonderful researcher she is. Well, we thought there was only 66 bodies out there. What we counted, it's up to 162. So it has just risen. We have all the names of everybody buried out there from 1920 up until 1941. One mother has 8 babies that were stillborn. They're out there somewhere. So Mark and Annie and Paula, Barry Washi and Celeste got the, meeting and everything like that. We're worried about where are these people at? Could they be in the field behind the tree line? There was a Mr. Long who was actually the mortician in Columbia who actually donated land to Zion Hill in the back behind another lot. They could be in the woods. We're not sure. So before we start either digging up ground or anything, we have to make sure that we know where all the bodies are accounted for. So our first step we're going to do, this is our committee plan, what we started out to do. The interpretation panels were 8 new tree plantings, which is the Arbor Day. We're going to have Arbor Day out there. We're going to plant 3 trees. So we're looking forward to that. And park benches. The walking path, we're going to step back and not do that for now because of figuring out where all these bodies are. So I think that's a good step. Cemetery history, I'd like we went back. We know it started in 1920. They're all transferred behind the backstop at Jansen's Park, and half of them were taken out to this location. Jared Alexander, who's our first buried out there, we just got his new headstone from the United States government. So we definitely want to put him up as by himself, a little brick memorial with his new headstone. And Benjamin Malone, we got his new headstone for him too. And we're going to start replacing slowly the ones that are broken, things like that. So, and these are the 8 panels that we're ready to order. We are funded already for these. Kinnear is going to be doing this project out of Pittsburgh. So it'll show the Zion Hill Cemetery history, Hill Hill history, which is the abolitionists. It's 200 years old this year. 200 years old since Hill Hill started over on 5th Street up over Lancaster Avenue. Harry Cole Baker, one of the first African American ministers in the United States history. Her church is still active to a point. Our new one was built up in Allentown, but she started right here. 7 of her children are buried somewhere in Columbia, and her husband, who was famous, William Baker, had a hall named after him. He was a fugitive slave. Our Civil War military history. So right now we have 17 Civil War and 1 World War I. John Green, who took his own life down in New Orleans, he became a natural hair case. His hair was all matted, but they forced him to cut his hair. 2 days later, he committed suicide down at Parapet, New Orleans. There's only 8 graves in that area. We want to recognize him because he became a natural hair case. You could not cut a man's hair in the military due to his religion. Hannah Bosley, she's a corn doctoress. She was well known all over the Northeast for taking corn off people's feet. So, believe it or not, she well worth it. She's basically well known. Katie Patterson, the first African American to graduate Columbia High School and became a teacher the following year for the African American school over on 5th Street. And Jacob Miller, the burning of the bridge. So these are highlights we want to put in here. We're going to put these panels up front so everybody can see them. Okay, 13 seconds, hurry up. This box, thank you to the park rangers, Columbia Park Rangers. What a wonderful group for taking all these headstones out. We're going to clean them, put them in the style memorial front and back, and hopefully we'll have this done by June. That's our target date to have the memorial done. That will be centerpiece, and then the grave markers all on the side. So looking forward to having this done. And with all the trees taken out, of course, this is right after they took all the trees out. It's beautiful out there. It's getting a lot of greener out there. It's looking really great for the springtime. So. And that's it. Any questions or anything?
I do have one question.
Sure.
On my executive brief, it says the Zion Hill Cemetery Committee to make the improvements. But on my agenda, it says authorizing staff. Will any of our staff be doing this, or it's all
It's the committee
the
that's
committee?
doing
The
it.
committee.
Okay.
We won't work on it for
No, it's not that time.
Well,
The staff
no.
that are involved are volunteers.
I just wanted to make sure I understood the
Maybe you said this already, but how are they gonna find where?
Well, that would be a grant. I'm applying for a grant through Hollow Grounds, which actually are meeting tonight, by March 28th. They'll bring a representative from the state, from Hollow Grounds, which is state funded. So we may try to get a grant for a ground penetrating radar going back to see if we can find any more bodies. They could be stacked on top of each other. You know, each stillborn would not take up too much room, but we want to know what's in the back part. So they'll take a radar back there, clean that out. So.
You will be having, when you are doing it, you will have someone from Craft or Workman to, just in case.
No, what this radar is, it's just basically.
Well, no, I mean when you're doing the work, like.
Oh, yeah.
Inadvertently.
We know where most of the bodies are. We're not gonna go that deep, and when we put a post in, if it's 6 inches, memorial will probably be 6 inches. We're not gonna go too deep in that ground. Don't worry, we worry. So,
Yeah.
but we definitely want to represent these people. I think the cemetery needs it. And we believe a lot of people come out to visit from all over to understand who these Hill people were and how important they were in American history. So.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this? Do we want to vote on this tonight? Yeah. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the Zion Hill Cemetery Committee to make improvements to the cemetery with 8 interpretation panels and a memorial wall?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the Zion Hill Cemetery Committee to make improvements to the cemetery with 8 interpretation panels and 1 memorial wall. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. And next we have a resolution. This is another land bank acquisition. They would like to acquire property located at 30 North 7th Street. And I apologize, I did not have time to get any of the background on this one. Do we know, are there any back taxes on this? I don't know. But at this point, we would just be giving the okay for the land bank to work to acquire it if they could. And as we saw at the last meeting, the land bank has done tremendous work for us, and I mean, I have no problem with this one. Are there any other questions? It's currently condemned, correct, Paula? Yes. Would anyone like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-14, authorizing the Lancaster County Land Bank to accept property located at 30 North 7th Street? Second. I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to adopt resolution 2023-14, authorizing the Lancaster County Land Bank to accept property located at 30 North 7th Street. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, staff reports, comments, and announcements. Solicitor Gable.
I have a number of things going on right now, but 2 that I will mention. We had a good meeting today with the chief and the mayor, Paula and Mark, and about some of the drug nuisance problems that we've observed and that we talked about at the last meeting. So I think we're going to start moving forward on some of that stuff and make sure we are utilizing the the powers that we have through the law, through the drug nuisance law and some of the other laws that we have out there to take care of some of these properties. So we're gonna start working on that. And I can't believe it's almost the end of March already. We have been working on a number of the liens that you guys have and getting some of those taken care of. Just in the last week, I can think of 2 or 3 that we've been contacted about. So Laurie is doing a great job, you know, keeping track of that and getting those over to us. So you'll have a new report in April once we get through the first quarter of this year. I can't believe that already, but we'll get that.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Engineer Ronaldo.
Just this
Hold on,
morning.
37.
Haven't spoken yet today. I'm excited. So just this morning, we received word that the CDBG applications are opening finally for this year. So just to bring it up tonight to council, it is the recommendation of staff that we go with the 200 block of Union Street between 2nd and 3rd, what we'd like to put an application in. I noted that the program this year is only showing available funds of $800,000, and each application has a max request of 200. So you do the math. That's not a lot of projects that I'm seeing a lot more funded. I normally see these. I mean, I've seen years where they funded up to 8 projects. So I'm going to talk with staff a little bit more up over there just to understand kind of what's going on, but we'll have to see how many applications are submitted and do a little bit of a tighter fight this year.
All right,
Really all I have.
okay. Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Stivers.
Thank you. What I did tonight, received an email this week regarding the second opioid settlement that is going on nationwide. Pennsylvania has signed on. We did receive communication from the county attorney that this would follow the same process as last time, in that each municipality that signs on will simply add to the amount of funds that the county will receive. So we're not in line to receive any monies directly, but it would go to the county to help the city. So that has, I think, going through. Most likely we'll get most municipalities to approve that as we did last time. You guys approved it last year, so I have. Thank you.
All right. Boards, commissions, and committees, upcoming meetings. There's a planning commission meeting on March 21st. Shade Tree is March 27th. And the River Park Revitalization and Advisory Committee on the 23rd is canceled. And there are no zoning hearing board, there is no zoning hearing board meeting this month. For council comments, we can start over here with Councilperson Stahl. No.
That's mine. Wow.
Right, and I'll say text my gov.
See if Mr. McConaughey can put that on his slide.
Text my gov. Sign up at, for details, check out Columbia Borough's website.
There you go, things like that, free. Yeah.
Yep.
Number on it.
Yeah. Text my gov, text Columbia to blah, 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 blah. Because that's all it is. This week at the Lancaster County Planning Commission meeting, I just want to throw this out there. It's not, nothing is set yet, but there is actually discussion starting at the county level to see if there is interest in the county seeking out money to do a regional stormwater plan, or like MS4 or something, rather than each municipality looking at it on a regional plan. Nothing is set yet. There's still discussion, but this may come later, at a later time, to see if we would be willing to go in on this for what from what I understand, there are some pros and there are also some cons, and places that have tried it have found it is more trouble than it's worth, and it's not always had great success, but there are grants out there that would help the county explore if this is what they want to do. Basically doing it on a watershed basis versus a municipality basis. So, yeah, there is some discussion on that is starting. No, but that's okay, I just want everyone to be aware.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, and for council, we're coming up, as you guys have all seen the thing, coming up in the beginning of June is the Boroughs Association Conference. If you are interested in going, please let Mark know as soon as possible so we can get whoever wants to go registered. And then probably by next month, we need to make a decision on who we want to have as our voting delegate at the conference. And hopefully there might be 2 of us going this year so we could have an alternate voting delegate. I see as spring is starting to spring, there are lots of volunteer opportunities in our community. If you're looking to help make a difference, the park rangers are going to be ramping up their things in all the different parks. There is a cleanup coming up next month in Mount Bethel to clean up the veterans headstone markers. That information is on Facebook. It's on our website. You know, I encourage anyone to step up, help make a difference. You know, take care of the resources that we have and get everything looking great. We still have the Adopt a Block program going on. That also helps. You know, everyone pitching in. Many hands make light work. So, and next month is the town cleanup as well. We got lots going on. Spring is happening and we're moving. So that is all I have. At announcement of next meeting at 7 p.m. on March 28th, council will hold a regular meeting. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Second. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to adjourn the meeting at 8:38 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. We have checks to